First pitch is laced into right field. Soriano does what he's supposed to do when he's batting in that slot. He's at first.
Soriano had been batting in the third spot in the lineup as Lou Piniella was trying to shake things up a bit. Here he's first ball swinging, ball up in the zone a bit and not really well hit. And this is the problem with Wellemeyer's last outing here in this homestand. He gave up a lot of ground ball base hits, pitched in some bad luck, I would say, though he did give up 10 hits in his start against the Mets and wasn't very sharp, I would say, in that game. And Cardinals need him to raise his level just a bit.
Terrio batting .344. Time called. The plate umpire this afternoon is Laz Diaz. 83 degrees the temperature as we start play here on this Sunday afternoon.
With a little wind, Jay.
Yeah, the wind blowing to right field. Throw over. Terrio's reached base in 12 of his first 16 games this season. He's batting .333 in the 5 games that the Cardinals and the Cubs have played this year. He's 7 for 21. The bunt, and it's a beauty. Nowhere to go. It's a base hit for Terrio on the bunt. And the first 2 have reached.
The Cubs have had some trouble offensively, so they're trying to make something happen here in the first inning after a base hit. Terrio bunting for a hit here. This almost seems like it's the third baseman's ball, not Yadier Molina. No chance for Molina to make that play. The only one who had a shot at it was the third baseman, Thurston. Molina's been very aggressive, and he bounces out so quickly, but just such a tough angle, Jay, for him to pick that ball as it's going away from him and turn and throw to first.
Fukudome batting .345 has hit in every game that these two teams have played so far in 2009. Takes high. Fukudome. He is celebrating a birthday today. 32 years old, from Osaka, Japan. That misses a little outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Fukudome was an all-star last year. First Chicago rookie to start an all-star game. Storied career in Japan. Fouls this one back.
This is exactly the start that Todd Wellemeyer did not want. You know, when you're struggling a bit, Jay, you'd like for good, fortunate things to happen for the first couple of hitters, and a blue pit to right for Soriano, then a bunt single, and all of a sudden you're pitching with stress right away. I know Dave Duncan would prefer that he just kind of had a nice, clean start to this game, but he's already working hard.
On the ground and through to the right side. Here comes Soriano. The throw going to third and cut off. And the Cubs lead 1-0. Fukudome's 11th RBI of the season. Derek Lee will try to keep it going as we look again.
That pitch down and away to Fukudome, and he just kind of rolls it into right field. A good aggressive base running for the Cubs. Soriano gets a good jump. He's waved by Mike Quaddy, the third base coach, and Ryan Terrio hustling into third. And the Cubs are showing something here early on, Jay. They're just not going to lie down and let the Cardinals sweep them without a fight.
Derek Lee's batting .197. He has struggled this season. Fouls that one back. Lee is 33-year-old now, and a fellow that, of course, has done a terrific job. Once had a scholarship to play basketball at the University of North Carolina. 2-time All-Star. A .323 career hitter against the Cardinals. That's a little high. 1-1. Lee's batting .182 in the 5 games played between these two clubs. Cubs 8-8 coming into this afternoon's action. Inside, 2 balls and a strike. Lee is also a 3-time Gold Glover, complete player. Fouled away. Wellemeyer with those big wide shoulders, trying to battle back after a rough start here in the first inning.
Yeah, he's searching right now. He doesn't have the right release point. When he throws his good pitches, they're out of the strike zone right now.
And a foul tip. Lee in his career batting 167 against the former Cub. Wellemeyer is the last Cubs rookie to be involved in a save in his first major league debut. He first came up with Chicago.
And he's pitched pretty well against his former teammates. 2-2 lifetime, but a low ERA, 3.18. But right now he's really battling. You can see in his body language he just doesn't really feel confident right now and comfortable. Double play make him feel a lot better.
And a shot to left. Rasmus on the run. It is over his head and off the wall. Theriot comes home. Fukudome stops at third. It's a double for Lee. Boy, that ball was tagged.
Well, that pitch looked like a hanger up in the strike zone from Wellemeyer, and even when a hitter's struggling, he can still hit a pitch in the middle of the plate. That pitch down a little bit more than I thought, but Derek Lee went down to get it, and he handled that pitch very well. Just a sinking fastball, didn't sink quite enough.
Reed Johnson's hitting .417 in his career against Wellemeyer and .320 on this season. Two runs are home. Still nobody out.
Stop the bleeding here.
Right down the heart of the plate. Johnson's 32 years old from Riverside, California. Wellemeyer was a 4th-round pick of the Cubs in 2000. Had that 13-9 record last year.
Cardinals with the infield back, conceding this 3rd run.
Popped up. And making the play. Fighting the sun and doing a nice job. Molina, 1 away. Not an easy play the way the sun is right now.
No, and the way the wind is as well. The wind blew that ball back into fair territory. And Molina just makes everything look easy. He's having a very good year defensively. You see the glove protecting the sun. And Molina also has to be given some direction from the players on the infield. Most notably, the pitcher's job is to tell him where it is, because he's the one closest to the action. And the Cardinals again with the infield back. We'll see if they charge.
Here's Fontenot. He is batting .400 against Wellemeyer in his career. Mike Fontenot from Sidell, Louisiana, batting .235 on the year. A shot to the shortstop. Play to first. A run scores. They might have had a play at third base, Rick. It would have been very close.
Well, and if Green is playing in, perhaps that run doesn't score at all. The Cardinals again choosing to play infield back, although the other possibility was maybe that squeaks in the hole between third and short, depending upon where Green would play. As he picks up this ball, he does have a shot at getting Derek Lee at third base. All kinds of time there to get him. And he decides instead to take the easy out at first base.
Giovanni Soto, the catcher, takes high. Soto batting 143. National League Rookie of the Year last season. He's been struggling at the plate a bit.
He's been struggling, but the Cardinals can't throw him strikes. In the 5 games that the Cardinals and Cubs have played, they've walked Soto 6 times. Probably been the most frustrating thing about this series so far, which has been a lot of good things, Jay, but they just can't seem to throw strikes to Soto.
Here's one to the right side. Albert is camped under it, and he's got it. But Chicago hits the Cardinals with 3 in the first.
It's not just where
Hofpauer is taking over at first base. Apparently Lee injured himself.
Well, that's something the Cubs could not really afford, to have another one of their star players injured. Lee actually had the big double in the first inning, and as he pulls into second base, he's a little bit ginger there, and I don't know what his issue might be. He's holding his right ankle. Also kind of the posture of somebody whose back is sore too, so we'll have to see what the report is on Derek Lee, who delivered a double off the left field wall, an RBI double. And now Hofpauer comes in as we look at the Cardinal lineup. Rasmus in the lineup again in that second spot, and that lineup has been good, Jay, top to bottom.
Schumacher will lead it off, batting .308, hitting .214 in the 5 games with the Cubs so far this year. Rich Harden, a Canadian from Victoria, British Columbia, on the mound. Catches the corner.
Harden, not a real big guy. He works off the first base side of the rubber. He is a fastball split for a changeup, which is his plus pitch, and he also throws a slider.
That's high and tight. Harden, this is his first full season with the Cubs. He acquired in a 6-player deal with Oakland last July. He was 5-1. Ripped foul. One thing about Harden, he's had trouble staying healthy. Since 05, he's been on the DL 6 times. Up the middle. Schumacher leads it off with a single.
Well, that's a nice start after giving up 3 in the top of the first. Skip Schumacher with a line drive up the middle here in the bottom of the first. As we take a look at the Cubs defense, we mentioned Hofpauer in at first base for the injured Derek Lee. Aramis Ramirez also injured. He won't be available here today. So this Cubs bench is very short right now. Only got 2 players on the bench that they can use.
Rasmus hits one foul. And Dave McKay jumping down there in the coach's box at first. Will be batting .314. Toss over.
I have a sense, Jay, that the short bench for the Cubs is going to hurt them by the time this game is over.
Colby's batting .326 in his 11 starts this season. Former #1 draft choice of the Cardinals in '05. 1 ball and 1 strike. Phillies are leading the Marlins 5-1 in the 7th inning at Florida. Cincinnati 2-0 over Atlanta at Cincinnati in the 5th. Just joining us, the Cubs got 3 on 4 hits in this first inning. Schumacher has 1 stolen base. A little bit high, good eye. Rasmus maturing and getting more comfortable, it seems like, every day.
He's had some very good swings, very good at-bats over the past week, and starting to show a little bit of that power that we know he has. Tony La Russa doesn't want him to start thinking about the kind of power that number 5 has. He wants him to think about line drives, as Harden again checking on Schumacher, who's stolen 1 base in 1 attempt. The Cardinals have not run a lot this year, Jay, but when they run, they've been successful.
Harden has 25 strikeouts in 15 innings in his 3 starts this year. There's a swing and a miss. That is the best strikeout total in the major leagues for a starter. 26 in 15 innings since 1900. Here comes the 2-2, and he got him. Here's Albert. Became the 30th player in Major League history to reach the 1,000 RBI total prior to his 30th birthday. There you see the list. He passed Ken Boyer to move into 5th. Musial, Slaughter, Bottomley, and Hornsby. That's a pretty good.
And to be just 70 RBIs behind Rogers Hornsby, and to be as young as Albert is, that's just incredible.
A little high. Catches the corner. Mentioned that Laz Diaz is the plate umpire. Chuck Merriweather's at first. Eric Cooper down at second, and Scott Berry is at third.
Ought to be 29 with 1,000 RBIs, Jay. Wouldn't it be nice?
Well, I can only say, Rick, that you and I and all of the Cardinal fans, as you look how deep they're playing him, you know, I sometimes think that we don't realize how privileged we are to see this man play baseball.
You are absolutely right, Jay.
Down to third, foul.
I made sure I had a chance to see Wayne Gretzky play hockey. I went up to Chicago to watch Michael Jordan play for the Bulls. Took my son up to do that because I knew that these were the greatest players in their sports, respectively, and that experience would be something that I would remember. And I think people come to watch Albert play, and I hope they had that same sense that what you're doing by watching Albert play is watching one of the best players in the history of this game play.
No question. 2-2, and it's a full count.
And when you start talking about the numbers that Pujols has put up, the only caveat that we keep saying is, well, you know, he doesn't have the longevity yet. Well, he hasn't had that opportunity yet, so it's not that he's done anything to not deserve that title. He just has to get older and keep playing the way he's playing, and there's really no sign that he's letting up at all.
He's hitting .390 against right-handed pitching this season. Here's the walk. 2 on and 1 out for Ludwig. And Ludwig, you know, with Albert going the way he's going, Ludwig might be flying under the radar a little bit unless you look. He's batting .356. In the 5 games with the Cubs, he's hitting .391, and he's hit in every game against the Cubs.
And there's the center field flag blowing straight out to center, a little bit out to left right now. 19-mile-an-hour wind. Ludwig could make this a very interesting game with 1 pitch.
There's a strike.
He has his 5 home runs to date, but he's hit a number of balls to the warning track, and a lot of those warning track fly balls that he's hit would be out on a day like today.
1 ball and 1 strike. The 3rd consecutive sellout here for this series. And what a beautiful afternoon for a game. Nice, the weather has turned warm. Ooh, he had a cut. Pass along some good news. I was chatting with Barry Weinberg today, and also with the general manager John Mozeliak, and everything is a go for Loesch on Tuesday in Atlanta.
Great news.
Got under it a little. Out in center field, Johnson. 2 on and 2 out for Ankiel. Ankiel will stand in, batting .232, 2 for 16 in the 5 games the Cardinals and the Cubs have played. Where's the mustache gone? There's a story in the paper about his mustache and the Mustache Society or Association, how proud they were. Well, it's one thing about a mustache. It can go, and it's gone. Here's one popped up. Let's see if the wind brings this one back. It does. Hofpauer now at first base makes the play. After an inning, Chicago 3, St. Louis nothing. He's batting only 120 and 200 in the 5 games that these two teams have played. Miles, of course, from Pittsburgh, California. Played every position in the field except catcher. Remember, he pitched for the Cardinals September 2008.
I remember it well. And he'll be a help to this Cubs team before the season's over. They're just not playing well right now.
Here's a stroke into center field, a leadoff single for Miles. Let's go to Frank Cusimano with the Cardinal general manager.
Jay, thanks very much. It's a pleasure to get together with John Mozeliak. John, a lot to talk about. First of all, Blaine Boyer, you saw him yesterday. Why is he a good fit for the Cardinals?
Well, I think what happened is when you saw Carpenter go down, we obviously needed to add some depth, not only to our major league club, but also to give us some protection down at Memphis. He's a player that's out of option, so he has to be on the big league club, and we'll just see what he's capable of doing. But I know he has a big arm, and he has definitely the arm to pitch at the major league level.
You got some good news with Kyle Loesch. He'll pitch Tuesday. What's the latest on Chris Carpenter?
Carp's situation, he's still slow, but it's something that we're very optimistic about in terms of getting him back. But it's one of those things where it's just going to take time.
This offense, 6 of the 8 starters today began the day hitting 300. You lead the National League in almost every offensive category. Has it even surprised you?
Well, I think when you look at how this club was put together, we knew we were going to have an offensive team. When you pick up Green at shortstop, obviously Molina starting to grow into himself offensively. So we knew we were going to score runs. Now the key is to just tighten up a few things, but day in and day out right now we have a fun team to watch. Final
thought. Every time Albert Pujols has a great day, everybody's extremely excited, they're thrilled. And then the next thought is, gosh, how much longer can we keep him? What is your policy and where does it stand? I know Albert signed for 2.5 more years, but can you give our fans a little insight there?
Well, obviously anything that's discussed in terms of negotiations between he and his agent and the St. Louis Cardinals is private, but there's no doubt we have a strong desire to want to keep him here, and we hope the feeling's mutual in terms of him wanting to be here. And I think all arrows would point in that direction, so hopefully when it comes time to get something done, we can.
John, congratulations on a great beginning. We appreciate your time.
Well, thank you.
All right, that's John Mozeliak. Back to Jay and Rick.
And here's Soriano taking a shot in the back of the neck. See if he's all right. Soriano singled and scored in the first, and now he's hit here. You saw Rich Harden lay down a bunt. He almost beat that bunt out, Rick. Harden did. He can fly.
Oh, he did, and that pitch really does hit Soriano right in the back of the helmet. Yadier Molina grabs onto him to hold him to keep him steady before the trainers from Chicago can get out there. As we listen to the sound, right off the helmet, and boy, knocks his helmet off, and I'm sure he's a little dizzy there for a second as he's still being administered to around home plate. Molina does a nice job of helping him right after he gets hit. Mark O'Neill, former Cardinal trainer, is the one to the left dealing with Soriano at home plate. We just hope he's all right.
Lee left the game because of a problem with his neck, apparently. Of course, Aramis Ramirez is hurting. Milton Bradley is not available to play, particularly as a regular, and Carlos Marmol won't be available to them today as far as the relief corps goes. I mean, Lupinella's really down to the nub here. So it's 2 on and 1 out for Terrio, who had the bunt single back in the first and later scored. That was a scary moment, wasn't it?
Good news that it appeared to be a bit of a glancing blow that just took the helmet off. I saw Clint Hurdle get hit in the helmet by Dwight Gooden in New York in Shea Stadium. Actually shattered his helmet, and he was dizzy for quite some time, had a little headache to go along with it. We hope that again that Soriano's okay. He appears to be, as he's out leading off at first base now.
into center field. Rasmus with a long run. He's there. Excuse me, Aniel with a long run. If you're traveling and can't catch the Cardinals TV broadcast, catch all the action on your computer at MLB.tv. Catch over 100 live out-of-market games per week. For complete details, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. It's Rasmus, Aniel, and Ludwig left to right in the outfield. Aniel making that play. Here's Fukudome. He singled, scored, and picked up an RBI. A little low. This is his second season, of course, in the majors. Did he go? Yes. 2 balls and 1 strike. Fukudome with 9 extra base hits in his last 14 games. Just missed outside. The Redbirds will head to the Georgia capital, Atlanta, for 3 tonight. And then it's into Washington for 4 against the Nationals. That caught the corner. Full count.
33 pitches already for Wellemeyer as he works with 2 outs in the second inning. Rich Harden actually had a long first inning as well. He threw 21 pitches. Cardinals weren't able to do any damage, but Wellemeyer's going to have to settle down, get some low pitch count innings to get through 5 or 6 innings.
That just missed outside, and that loads the bases. First walk issued by Wellemeyer. Miles at third, Soriano at second, Fukudome over there at first. For Micah Hofpauer, comes in with a .318 average, taking over for Lee, who doubled and picked up an RBI before having to leave the game. Hofpauer is from Fort Worth, Texas, 29 years old. He was their minor league player of the year last year. That's inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Batted .342 last year, playing in 33 games for the Cubs. Another one inside. Wow. There's a strike.
Well, I tell you, that 3-0 pitch with the bases loaded, you start to want to squeeze that ball, Jay. You feel every seam. I tell you what,
you remember, don't you?
Very hard.
You remember.
Very hard to get that out of your head and just think about throwing a strike.
Here's one that is foul, deep to right.
And then when a guy turns on the 3-1 pitch like that, that makes you think even more. And this pitch here, the 3-2 pitch with everybody running, just added distraction. You know, sometimes you wonder how a big league pitcher can throw strikes, period, with all of the noise around him and the activity and the stress and the pressure. I mean, that's a little area you're throwing into. It really is.
All right, here we go. And he walked him. 4-0, Chicago. Miles scoring. Soriano to third. Fukudome to second. And Dave Duncan to the mound. Sunday, you know, is game day here on News Channel 5, and our next broadcast a week from today. That's May the 3rd. The Cardinals will be in the nation's capital to take on the Nationals. The Cardinals and the Nationals. Coverage begins at noon right here on your home for Cardinal baseball, News Channel 5. And Rick, I'm looking forward to seeing that new stadium. I haven't been there. And
look forward to that as well.
Will be a nice experience. So I get to see my brother and some old friends in the D.C. area. Here's Reed Johnson. And he fouled out back in the first for the first out of the first inning. And that's wide for a ball. Wellemeyer really struggling.
Yeah, it looked like he aimed that last pitch there a bit. It's hard to tell yourself to just let it go and just, you know, trust yourself. A lot of negative things have happened already, and you just have to, again, turn the page mentally, physically, and all that. And, you know, there's a guy standing up there with a bat in his hand that knows what he's doing.
1 ball and 1 strike. He was way out in front of that off-speed pitch. Wellemeyer claimed by the Cardinals in May of 07. Fouled away. 1-2.
Well, this is what he needed. Todd Wellemeyer ahead of Reed Johnson here with the bases loaded. Now he can try to get a little nasty, perhaps with his breaking ball, which might be Todd's best pitch. But I would say he's pretty much got all of his pitches are good, but he needs to have them all working to be successful. Cardinals playing Johnson to hit the ball the other way a bit. Finish him off here. Don't play around with it.
Out it comes to Green. He throws in time. Chicago strands 3. They get 1. After an inning and a half, it is 4-0 Chicago. .10 for Wings of Hope Cardinal Nation. 30 minutes of in-depth stories, interviews, and features. The Wings of Hope Cardinal Nation right here on your home of Cardinal baseball, News Channel 5. Rich Harden goes back to work. He has been given a 4-run lead. Molina will lead it off.
But he's got a lot of outs to get, Jay. This is very early. Cardinals have played very well in the middle innings of every one of their games. Second time through the lineup. Molina, working on a 9-game hitting streak, has been good all throughout.
Yadier has hit in all 5 of the contests that these two teams have played on the young season. Batting .333. Foul out of play. And Yadi even has a stolen base.
And a triple.
And a triple, that's right.
Tied for the team lead in triples.
Phillies are leading the Marlins 8-1 in the 8th inning at Florida. Reds 8-0 over Atlanta. 6th inning in Cincinnati. 3-1.
Yadi, of course, very good friends with Albert Pujols, and you can almost define them both as extremely intelligent baseball players in terms of how to play the game and get the edge at the right time.
Into right. Way back, gone! His second home run of the season, RBI number 11.
See, I told you he was intelligent. As he hits the ball up into the wind in right center field. Molina extends his hitting streak to 10 games, and he gets the good part of the barrel of the bat on that hardened delivery, and he powers it into the Cardinal bullpen.
374. The feet given to us on that one. Here's Khalil Green. Swing and a miss. The right fielder thought for a moment he had a shot at it, but
good effort.
A very good effort out there by Fukudome. This down at third base. Fontenot throws across. Here's Yadi.
The catcher's the only guy that's got to start worrying about putting his equipment back on. He can't really celebrate very long. He's already thinking, now, how can I get my pitcher back on track? I mean, that's exactly what he's thinking about right now. I know he's happy about his home run, but the catching position is so demanding. It amazes me how many games Yadi can catch in a row, Jay, because it'll wear you out mentally. Right now, he's thinking, how do I get Wellemeyer straight?
Joe Thurston pops it up. Soto makes the play. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Here's Wellemeyer. Pretty good hitting pitcher. Catches the corner. At New York, the Mets' new stadium, the Nationals are having a field day. They lead 8-1 in the 5th inning. It's foul back.
We don't want the Nationals to get hot this week, do we?
They can score all the runs they want to there in New York.
Just don't extend it into the next weekend series. They've got some good hitters in that lineup. Pitching is another question.
Yes, it is. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Foul away. Reminder, the Cardinals will have 3 in Atlanta and 4 in Washington before coming home. 2 with the Phillies and 2 with Pittsburgh. And then back out on the road, 3 with Cincinnati, a day off on the 11th. And 3 in Pittsburgh. And then home for 3 with Milwaukee, a day off on the 18th. 3 with the Cubs and 3 with Kansas City. There are good seats remaining for this next stretch of home games for the most part. Into right field. Fukudome over at the line makes the catch. But the Cardinals get on the board. The second home run of the season by Yadier Molina. By Bank of America, Cardinal banking only at Bank of America, and by Schnucks, where you'll find low prices, no sacrifices. Fontenot leading it off as we move to the third, and we are joined by the voice of the Cardinals, Mr. Mike Shannon. Hello, Old Irish.
How are you, Jennings? Everything good? You're behind over here. We're leading on the other side over there.
Well,
we're leading 4-1.
Well, maybe you can get us turned around here.
We have pictures here. We can't lie.
That's good to see. A glorious day, isn't it?
Oh, this weather we've had is so nice. It's unbelievable.
Fontenot into left and coming on to make the play, Rasmus.
How about these fans, the way they flock down here for this 3-game set?
3 standing room only crowds.
Isn't that great?
The
town is just rolling. Yeah, downtown St. Louis. You know, Wrigley Field's one thing, and it's great up there when the Cards and the Cubs get together. But here in St. Louis, it's all downtown. It's all stuck right here. You know, Wrigley Field's on the north side up there, and not so much of a bigger city. Down here, it's all in downtown, and you can see the folks walking around, smiles on their faces. They're Cardinal fans, Browns, they're Cub fans. We've seen it the other way around, though.
Giovanni Soto, he popped out back in the first. Kicks inside.
Yeah, just fun at the old ballpark. It's been a great weekend and been a great homestand for the Cardinals, going for the sweep of all 6 games.
And going for 10 in a row here at home.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, besides the 10 in a row, Jay, if you go back to last season, the Cardinals have won 16 out of 18 here at this ballpark. So you can see why the fans flock out here to see the Redbirds.
That's inside. 3 balls and a strike.
Wellemeier's struggling. He's just struggling with his control. They're trying to get it together. We're only in the 3rd inning. He's thrown a lot of pitches already. He's up over 50. But he's a battler, this guy.
It catches the outside corner.
I tell you, it looks so easy when you're going right, and it's so tough when you're just a little bit off. And it's not much either to be off.
No, Rick was talking about it earlier when they had the bases loaded, and he threw, you know, the 4 pitches for the walk. He says you can't imagine what a tough situation that is for a hurler.
But
got him.
What he doesn't do, he never gives in, this guy Wellemeyer. He still battles you. He battles you. And that was a good example. When he walked Hofpauer with the bases loaded, he walked him on a pitch that was just a little outside. Now look at this pitch here. He painted the outside corner. So this guy will battle you. He'll give it all to you. And when we started this game, I said he's got a lot of pressure on him. Big-time pressure because you're going to try to sweep the series and sweep the Cubs, sweep the homestand.
Strike to Aaron Miles. Miles stroked a single and scored in the second.
I don't know what's going on out there now. He keeps looking in there. I don't know if Miles said something or he said something.
It's out of play.
But you can see Wellemeyer, he's settled down. He's trying to have a 1-2-3 inning. If he can get Miles, he'll be his first 1-2-3 frame. He faced 7 guys in the first inning, faced 7 more in the second inning. This guy's a tough out too, Miles. He'll foul pitches off. He's in that category of guys like Billy Martin and you know, the former shortstop that we had. You just battle.
On the ground, and it is handled by Schumacher in time.
Looked good, didn't he?
And he gets the 1-2-3 inning. 2.5. 4-1 Chicago. So go online to StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals, and the only site with Fan Protect guarantee.
Does that go for the All-Star game? Can I call?
You can call.
Wow.
I'm not sure you'll be pleased with what they tell you, but
I can. If I don't have tickets, I can go there. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Good. All I need is the money.
Schumacher to lead it off here in the bottom of the third inning.
Boy, that's going to be some week, isn't it, Jay?
It really is. You emceed the news conference here on Wednesday afternoon with all of the Major League Baseball bigwigs in town, and it's going to end up really. It's a week celebration, the whole week.
We got Fan Fest over at the American Center. That's going to start, I think, like Wednesday or Thursday, somewhere in there. It's the 10th, whatever the 10th is. I think that's, what is it, Friday or something like that. And the All-Star game is the 14th, so it'll be the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. 5 days for the
10th is Friday, right?
Yeah, 5 days for the Fan Fest over there. That's a treat in itself. Then you have the Home Run Derby, all the parties. My goodness.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. even if you don't have tickets, come on into town. It's like the Kentucky Derby. It goes on for a whole week, the parties and all that
That's
stuff.
right.
The race only lasts 2.5 minutes. At least we'll have a 2.5-hour game, maybe.
It's the most exciting 2 minutes in sport,
No
but
doubt
there is a
about
lot
it.
of other things to do in Louisville this weekend.
Well, you know, the Cardinals are going to go to Atlanta, and then they're going to Washington, D.C., the nation's capital.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that new ballpark.
And they're going to go to the White House and meet the President of the United States, President Obama. And they asked if I'd like to go. I said, you know, I'd love to. And it's the greatest thing in the world. I've been fortunate enough to meet 2 of the presidents there. And I'm looking forward to meeting President Obama.
Let's see if this gets down. Nope. Sariano is there. 1 away.
But I said there are 2 things that come before the President of the United States. That's Cardinal baseball and the Kentucky Derby. And only on the first Saturday in May does the Kentucky Derby come before the Cardinals.
There you go.
So anyway, we have a mutual friend, and I've been promised that I'll get another chance, and so I'm going to take the opportunity.
I'm sure you will.
But next Saturday,
you'll be in the bluegrass country.
Yes, I'll be at Churchill.
And a reminder, of course, you can watch and wager over at Fairmount Park on the 135th Run for the Roses.
135 years.
Rasmus struck out in the first.
Jay and I have only seen 75 of those big.
Wish I had.
I tell you what, we've seen some good ones over there. How about Alador and Affirmed? And how about Secretariat? And Seattle Slew. We could go on and on.
Well, of course, Barbaro was so wonderful. It's a sad story, but my friend Mike Matz.
But the history over there is much like Cardinal baseball.
In fact, today they dedicated a new statue of Barbaro.
No kidding.
On the grounds at Churchill today.
Wow.
I understand it's a magnificent piece of sculpture.
Now, if you want to run
Rasmus
back,
has struck out twice.
if you want to run back and see what they're doing to Rasmus, and he'll probably go in now. The hitting coach is telling him to go in and look at what's happened to him. They've got him swinging at those pitches low and inside. They're out of the strike zone, and a veteran like Harden, who has very good control, he just keeps pumping him in there, and they've gotten him on strikes twice now, and they've been on those breaking pitches low and inside.
Albert walked in the first. Ooh, yeah.
Well, I think that was just kind of the Soriano was hit, and it was an accident. There's no doubt about that. But they just throw it inside to Albert now.
Mike, look here at these figures. We're going to give you in just a second. Ooh, goodness, another one way in.
Now he looks back at the umpire and say, "Hey, what are we going to do here?" Albert not saying anything, and just gets back in there. He throws another one in there, though. You got some problems coming, folks. So let's watch this third pitch here.
Well, that one's way outside.
And Albert's showing him the courtesy here of taking the pitches. Okay, he's up there taking and say, "You guys want to play this game? We'll play it. It's 3-0. See what he does with the 3-0 pitch now. He'll be outside with it." Oh,
there it is.
Walked him.
His figures are very similar to 2006, Mike. Take a look at this. That was 2006, and of course we know what's going on this year in April.
Well, I hope the results in October and November are the same. How about that one? Huh?
Would be nice.
And so would Albert. He'd trade everything, all the stats, just for that second chance to pick up a ring. That's what all these guys play for, believe it or not. And you can ask Albert right now, would he trade his MVP year for a World Series ring? He won't hesitate. I guarantee he won't.
Yeah, he's all about team. He really is. Here's Ludwig, flied to center field in the first.
What we need now is for Ludwig to pop one so that they pitch to Albert a little more. And he's been doing that in the early going. You know, Ludwig's hitting 24 of his last 26 games going back to last year. And he's off to a great start with 5 homers and 19 RBI.
He sure is. The All-Star last year, Silver Slugger Award. He can't catch up with that one.
You know, if Albert didn't have 7 home runs and 25 RBIs, they'd be talking about Ludwig with 5 and 19 home runs and RBI. And I'd like to see him make it 6 and 21 right now.
Hitting .328 a year ago. That's right down the heart of the plate. Good fastball.
Long way to go. This is going to be it's 4-1 now. We had a 4-0 game here the other day. Wound up, what was it, 14-12 or something? These guys are good.
Toss over. Harden wins the battle, his third strikeout. The Cubs are leading the Cardinals 4-1 after 3 innings.
This pitch right in here out of the strike zone, and watch Rass swing at it now. He's done it 3 times, but you get a good veteran like this, watch him throw this ball in there. Watch him swing at it. See it? Just a little inside and low, okay? And look at Rass look down. How did I miss that pitch? It was just a little low and just a little inside. He's done that 3 times to him. It's what you call a youngster learning this game, and there's so much to learn. We've got 3 of them on the team. Got the center fielder, Aniel, he's still learning. You have Rasmus, he's still learning. You have our other guy, Duncan, they're all still learning. And boy, if these guys are figured out, then they quit swinging at those pitches, and then that guy has to come to them, they're going to really make some pitchers hurt. We have a big upside to those youngsters, and Rasmus is one of those. They're off to good starts, all 3 of them.
0-2 to Harden.
This guy's a good athlete.
Yes, he is.
He's a really good athlete.
He almost beat that bunt out earlier in the game.
Yeah, he can run. He can field his position. He can handle the bat. This is a great move for the Chicago.
It's just a little wide.
This is only his 6th big league season. What happens to a guy like this? You know, he becomes so valuable that the home team doesn't want to pay him. You know, he comes up the first 5 years and he does very well, and then he's a free agent, and his price goes up as he fouls out here. His price goes up, and so they say, well, we can't afford that.
Immediately following today's telecast, stay tuned for the postgame show. Cardinal highlights from today's action and insight into today's game. News Channel 5, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Now look at Wellemeyer. He struggled the first 2 innings. Now he's retired 5 in a row. If he can set him down 1, 2, 3 in this inning. There's a curveball. See, Soriano's messed up, believe it or not. He comes in hitting .294. He's got 5 homers, 9 RBIs, but right now he's struggling a bit with the off-speed deliveries. He's a very aggressive guy, and if you can get the breaking ball low and away like that, he's not going to hit it. But the first time he was up there, he threw him a curve and he got it up and he hit it off the end of the bat, dunked it into right field. The thing about this guy, if you make a mistake, he's so aggressive he'll hurt you.
And the thing with him is that speed of his. Boy, you give him an opportunity.
This will be outside. See if he'll go for it. No, not that far outside. But if the first pitch of the game was a curveball, it was outside, but it was up, and because it was up, he got the hit. If it was down, he'd have done like he did on the first two. You're going to go back outside again. Now watch. Oh, he went with it this time.
Yes, he did. And this will be upstairs for a double.
See?
Ground rule double.
Here's the situation on that particular play. They went outside, 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 outside. You got to come up and in to change him, make his eyes readjust, all right? But he went outside, 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 and so what did Soriano do? He said, well, they've been getting me outside. I better look that way. He did, and look what he does. Just goes that way with it. You throw that fastball up and in, would have been a different story. Just to set up the breaking ball.
Ryan Terrio bunted his way on in the first and scored. He flied to center in the second. That's in for a strike.
You know, they don't pay these guys $10-15 million because they haven't figured things out. Soriano, he's a threat, man. I mean, he can do a lot of things. He's been on base 3 times today.
Well, and another thing that we mentioned, and it's got to be a very tough time for Lou Piniella. He's got a depleted core of players here right now. I mean, he's really been hit by the injury bug.
I'm not feeling sorry for him.
Oh, I know you're not. I'm not either.
And he's not feeling sorry for himself, Jay,
no.
Because these guys know it. Both Piniella and the Cardinal manager, Tony, they never complain about that they're beat up and they're hurt because they know that he's just trying to steal third now.
Yeah, and there's no throw. He got a big jump off Wellemeyer there. Huge jump.
And the veteran catcher, Yadier Molina, instead of chancing a throw over there and letting it go by, he doesn't throw it, okay? He'd never gotten him. And if you throw it over there and it misses, you get a run. Now
Soriano's 3rd stolen base of the season.
And another reason why he's so dangerous and why they pay him that kind of money. You know, when the Cardinals had Lou Brock, now the infield comes in for the play at the plate.
And now the infield, as you mentioned, coming in. And, of course,
Jay, that speed causes so many things to happen. You can remember you were doing Channel 5 when Brock and Gibson. And how many times did Brock just drive him nuts like Soriano does here with his speed? And see what people forget about Brock. So keep him off base, keep him off base. He had over 3,000 base hits. How are you going to keep a guy off base? Not like that. And he drove the opposition crazy.
You know, Soriano, he's made a interesting move in his career, going from second base to the outfield. Schumacher's moving from the outfield to second base.
But basically for the same reason.
Exactly.
Offense. If you can hit, you can run. If you're a good offensive player, they'll find a place to put you.
Fouled away.
And look at the difference. Now you got Ryan Terrio up there, okay? And he's so much a bigger threat now, and you can see him. He's shortened his stroke. He knows if he puts the ball in play, the chances are that he'll pick up another run. And the Cardinals get the home run from Yachty to take one chunk out of the board. Now you could get it taken back from you because of the stolen base in the infield end.
That's low. Full count.
Been a tough game for Wellemeyer. This could be the key to him winning or losing. If you can stop this run from being scored right here in the 4th inning, the momentum's going to come your way. The Cubs score here now. They may run away with it.
And down it goes, and Soriano holds on, and a bad throw. And Soriano will come home. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Now, let me tell you why all this happened. You know why it all happened? Because of the speed of Soriano. Watch what happens there. You get the ball hit up the middle, okay? And you have the shortstop. Green, he makes a heck of a play, okay, as he goes to his left. Watch him now. He goes here to his left, but he knows Soriano's over there. You see him look at third? He drops the ball. He saw that Soriano wasn't going to run home, so he throws wildly to first, all right? See him looking over at third before he caught the ball, before he got it out of his glove? And then he throws wild. It's all because, look here, now watch him. He'll look at Soriano. Soriano stop. And then he throws back, okay? He looks over there, nope, drops the ball. Now he throws wild pass here. It's all because of Soriano's great speed. All of that because of the speed, just what we were talking about with Brock.
First pitch to Fukudome is high. He singled, scored, and picked up an RBI in the first, walked in the second. That is the 20th error of the season for the Cardinals. They lead the National League in that department. Two balls and no strikes.
That's what we're talking about with that speed. It makes all the infielders cheat in a little bit. It makes them hurry, and all that stuff going through your mind. That's why you want guys like Soriano and Brock as your leadoff hitters, and the guy that's going to Cooperstown this summer. Probably as good a leadoff man in the history of the game. Ricky. Ask Ricky, and he'll say, well, Ricky knew that. He always talks in the third person. You ask Weston, how's Ricky going? Well, Ricky's doing pretty good. Said, what's the score? Well, let me ask Ricky. What's the score, Ricky? Ricky knows the score.
In his day.
And first-time Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, and he should be.
3 balls and a strike.
You look at his statistics. He's a leadoff hitter. And he fits right in there with the great ones like Lou Brock.
Chicago getting one back here in the fourth. And now here comes Theriot to make it a 6-1 game.
What do we say about if you could have gotten Theriot there? You might change the momentum. Now the Cubs might break it wide open. Well,
This day in history is brought to you by Commerce Bank. Wrigley Field becomes the first ballpark to employ an organ to entertain the fans. The Cardinals win the game April 26th of 1941.
They had an organ, but they didn't have lights.
Not then. No, sir.
The game has changed somewhat, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure they had a closer in that year, did they?
And there was a lot of guys over in Europe and across the pond that weren't worried about the organ, too. I can tell you that.
That's inside.
What was that?
1 ball and no strikes to Hofpauer. If you're just joining us, he took over when Lee apparently injured his neck in the first inning after a double. One ball and 1 strike.
Tell you what, I think this kid's going to be some player. Micah Hofpauer, keep your eye on him. He gets a chance today to play because Derek Lee had to leave with some neck spasms, but this kid had some AAA year for Chicago last season, and they are trying to find a place. He's normally a first baseman, okay, but here's another situation. They're trying to find a place for him to play. He's not going to play in front of Lee, so they're putting him in the outfield, and they're trying to give him a chance there.
Throw over.
He's like our guys, okay? He's young, aggressive, has a lot to learn. You try to take advantage of that aggressiveness, try to get him to swing at something out of the strike zone. But I think this guy is going to be a player to watch in years to come.
He was their minor league player of the year last year. Ripped into right. And the beat goes on for the Cubbies.
Well, you can't give a good team more than 3 outs an inning. And let's watch this young man here. Mr. Micah Hofpauer. He's got a big league name. He's got a big league swing. And you see him go down after that low pitch. I think he's got a chance of being a very, very good ball player in the years to come. Cardinal catcher out there trying to tell Willamar to stay with this thing now.
No action in the Cardinal bullpen.
And their bullpen is bummed up, okay? They don't have their big guy down there in the eighth inning, Marmol. So you got to stay close. You have to battle. You know, you wanted to get out of this inning trailing 4-1. They've scored twice, but you're still within reach, down by 5.
Reed Johnson is fouled out and grounded out. Here's a strike.
These are one of those days when you come home from work, you're all beat up, man. You're dirty, you're grimy, you sweated all day long. But so is the other team. If you come from behind, you're going to feel a lot better. Have a nice cold frosty one, have a nice hot meal.
That's the truth.
Huh? I know the folks out there, they know the kind of days. They've had those days, even though they're not ball players. Just think when you were, what were you, the sports editor, or what do they call that when you were there over at Channel 5 running the sports
director.
Sports director. You had some of those days when, you know, just everything went wrong, you know, but at the end of the day, you had one good line at the last time, right? And you came home.
A little like baseball. If we just turn the page and go back the next day, you know. 0-2.
Aha.
The strikeout is the second.
Now he got him, but I tell you, that's a pitch right there, just perfect. And here's a guy, Johnson, who's come over from the American League, and he's going to have to learn all of these pitches. Look at this breaking ball, perfect, low and away. Oh man, if you throw it there, you'll have easy days.
Fontenot grounded out in the first, picked up an RBI, and then in the third inning, he flied to left.
This is the third inning that they've sent 7 people to the plate. They did it in the first, they did it in the second, they're doing it again here in the fourth. They scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second. They've scored 2 here in the fourth, and if you get out of this thing, you're still in the game.
0-2. All of a sudden, Wellemeier's firing in good fashion.
You mentioned about turning the page. You just don't want to turn the page till later on, right?
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's a little outside. Well, the 13-run pool is gone as the Phillies are winning 13-2 in the bottom of the 9th at the Marlins down in Florida.
Molina hit a little hiccup in the road here of late after that great start.
And he got him. That's strikeout number 3. After 3.5. The Cubs This is Drinkability, and tomorrow coverage starting at 5:30 on FSM, and the Cardinals opening up a series in Atlanta.
Tell you what, that Atlanta team is, well, Bobby Cox. Anytime Bobby Cox has a ball club, you're going to know it's going to be good. He's like our manager, Tony La Russa, and their manager. They always have good baseball teams. You won't find those guys. You know, they see things happening a year or two before. You know, they know when a guy is going to slow down, and they make trades, and that's why they've been around so long. And you're seeing three of the best guys, Lou Piniella, Tony La Russa, and now we go down to Bobby Cox. I mean, it's here's Aniel. Now we're talking about showing him the fastball and then get him to swing at something out of the strike zone on off speed. He just got him to do that. Now let's see what he does with him on 1 and 2.
He fouled out on the first.
He wants a high fastball just to show it to him. See there?
Here's one that's going to go. It is gone.
He didn't get it high enough. He just wanted to show him that pitch, okay? So he could come back with an off-speed delivery, and he didn't get it high enough, and Rick made it play. Look at Harden. He knows he made the mistake. We'll run that thing over for you. You'll see the catcher, Soto. He had him 1 ball, 2 strikes. He wanted to show him the fastball high and then come back with a changeup, but he didn't get it high enough. Well, watch this. See him say way up there he wants it high. Now he throws it high. He's even standing up, but he didn't get it high enough. He just got it at his shoulders. He wanted it up around his nose. That's great, isn't it?
Second home run of the year for Aniel, 6th RBI. Inside to Molina, who homered back in the second.
That was great, wasn't it?
6-2.
Look at our Jason LaRue. He's talking to him about it. He said, yeah, they tried to throw that one by you, didn't they, big boy?
As you noticed that he cut the mustache off today.
Yeah, I saw him downstairs.
Yep.
And look where he hits this ball. See, he wanted it nose high, and he only got it shoulder high or chin high. Look at that, Yachty. He knew he threw that one inside after the home run. He went up there pumping after. Gosh, these guys are good, aren't they? Huh? You see just a little bitty mistake and what it cost you.
That ball went 384 feet.
It was like Ernie Banks. Ernie Banks used to always hit it in the first row or the second row, his home runs.
Really? It didn't really make any difference.
No, it didn't matter at all, you know. One day, you know, if you got on first base, Ernie was always talking to you, you know, talking. And I said to him one day, I said, Ernie, if you wouldn't be playing here in Wrigley Field, you wouldn't have all these 500 home runs. Well, man, he didn't know what to say. He didn't talk for another half inning.
Oh, that caught the corner. The strikeout is the 4th for Harden.
Boy, the Cubs were good then. They had 4 Hall of Famers on that team, and maybe 5. You have Santo might make it one of these days.
Yeah,
okay,
I think he deserves to.
Both those
Ed
guys.
Williams.
You had the Ernie Banks, all right?
Yeah.
And you had the pitcher, Slider from Canada.
Swing and a miss.
Billy Wade.
By Khalil Green. There's Pat Hughes, the wonderful voice of the Chicago Cubs, and man who's done such a great job. Yeah, there's Santo.
What a
Hughes has done a wonderful job with those DVDs that he's done for the voices of the game, and it's a wonderful project of his, and he's done a great job with it. Fergie Jenkins, yes. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Just think, if they wouldn't have traded Brock, they had Brock on that team.
Well, let's not think about
that.
Oh,
yeah. Man.
Khalil Green goes down. Strikeout number 5. He couldn't catch up with that one, Mike. That was some high heat coming from Harden.
Head ahead. That's what you try to do. You get ahead. Try to tell you that 4-seamer. It was tough. You know, they used to talk about, well, the guy's got to hop on his fastball. You watch a guy that throws hard in the first inning, they'll swing and they'll miss. Then the second time around, they'll foul it, but they'll foul it back to the screen. Then the third time up, they might foul it where they pop it up. That's because he's slowing down just a little bit each time.
Strike to Thurston, who fouled out to the catcher in the second inning. Thurston and Barden been sharing the third base duties, and doing a very nice job, both of them.
Okay.
Barden out in front 0-2. Trying to strike out the side after Ankiel's home run, but it's a single into left center.
This guy Thurston, from the time he was traded over here, he said, I've got to show that Cardinal organization what I can do. And we checked on him. Jay and I, we checked on him with some of our spies around the league, and they told us that what this guy will do, he'll never give an at-bat away. He'll never quit on you. He'll just charge. And from day one, that's exactly what he's done, hasn't he?
One baseball man that you and I know well said it was the best signing the Cardinals made.
Wow, that's really
Remember
something.
that?
Yeah, we're not telling where we get our goodies.
Oop. Swing and a miss.
And there's folks at home that are saying right now, they're saying, well, now, here's Wellemeyer. How come he doesn't pinch hit for Wellemeyer? Well, there's going to be days that you got to take it on the chin, and you've got to get your starter to go into the 6th and the 5th and 6th innings. And even though he's not having a good day, because you have to protect that bullpen, we still have a whole week of baseball to play. We've got 3 in Atlanta, and then 4 we have to play up in Washington. So these are the things that you have to look at down the road. You pinch hit here in the 5th inning, and then you're going to have that problem.
6 strikeouts for Harden. 6-2 Chicago. Healthcare Industry Nights are back in 2009. Employees in the healthcare industry can purchase all-inclusive tickets for half price on select games. For details, visit stlcardinals.com/healthcare or call 314-345-9500. Giovanni Soto will lead it off. Ball 1 to him as we move into the 5th inning. And it is to Khalil Green on a line, 1 away. And we welcome back Rick Horton, the pride of the Hudson Valley.
How about that? How about that?
This is been quite a performance by the Cubs and by their hurler, Harden. And on the other hand, Wellemeyer having to battle back here. And he did look a little sharper in that last inning. Let's see if he can get it together. There's still a lot of time. Here's Aaron Miles, who singled and scored in the 2nd, grounded out in the 3rd.
Really needed some innings out of Wellemeyer. He had a chance to perhaps, Tony La Russa did pinch hit for him in the last inning, but chose to keep him out there, which I think is the right choice. You don't want to get into your bullpen too early. And Wellemeyer looked like he'd settled down, Jay. He'd had 5 straight batters retired before that double by Soriano into the right field corner.
Really hurt.
And then the error hurts.
But as Mike pointed out, so often you see those errors in those situations when you get a speed burner on the base paths like Soriano.
And defense has been something we're focusing on for the Cardinals. They make some great plays, but they've made far too many errors early on. And
20 now.
It's just something they're going to have to cut down on. Although the play by Green made a great play just to get to the ball as it was up the middle and then threw it away. And Tony doesn't want to put too much pressure on his guys and say, hey, let's stop the errors, because once you start thinking error, now you're defeated. You've got to just be aggressive. He wants his guys to continue to be aggressive. But boy, when you give a team 4 outs in an inning, it almost always hurts you.
No question about it. That's a killer. It is a final now at Florida. 13-2. Philadelphia defeats the Marlins. And a swing and a miss, and that will be another strikeout. That's number 4. Looking for something to do in St. Louis? Check out Metromix.com. The city's best concerts, events, newest restaurants and bars, for where to go and what to do in St. Louis. Visit Metromix.com. It's 4 strikeouts now for Wellemeyer. Here is Harden, who has sacrificed successfully in the 2nd and fouled out in the 4th.
So far, the Cubs have outscored the Cardinals here in the middle innings, actually the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings, which have been the big innings for the Cardinals in 2009.
Just got a piece of that one.
As we look at the scores in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning, Cardinals have outscored their opponents by a wide margin, 22-8 in the 3rd, 21-5 in the 4th. And also the 5th inning, as you get to the 2nd time through the lineup, it's when they've either been extending their leads or getting their leads. And they'll have one more shot as they'll hit the bottom of the 5th inning after Wellemeyer strikes out Harden here.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
I just said it a pitch too early, Jay.
Well, it is encouraging the way Wellemeyer's shown some improvement here, and he does get the strikeout. It is his 5th. And for only the 2nd time in the game, he gets them 1, 2, 3. 6-2 Chicago.
Frank Cusimano with the Hall of Famer Rick Hummel right outside the Rick Hummel press box. First of all, Commish, are you surprised by the great beginning?
A little bit, I guess, especially as homestand. They're playing the Mets and Cubs. I think are 2 of the better clubs, maybe the 2 best clubs in the league at the start of the season, and they're going to at least go 5-1. So yeah.
One disturbing stat: errors. Khalil Green makes the 20th error for the Cardinals this season. Can teams win championships with high error totals?
Not generally. You know, the Marlins are a bad defensive team, and they're probably not going to win because of that. Now, the Cardinals have made a lot of good plays, but 20 errors is too high.
One thought about the closing situation. You and I were talking about it off the other day. Very rare that a lifetime setup guy has become a closer. You think this is for real with Franklin?
Well, for April it is. I don't think he'll be the closer at the end of the year, but this is what Duncan Tony wanted, was a veteran guy until Mon and Perez are ready. And Mon and Perez have pitched a lot better lately.
Commissioner, we appreciate the visit. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
All right, that's Rick Hummel. Let's send it back to Jay and Rick.
Thank you very much. There's Franklin.
Always good to hear from Rick Hummel. That guy knows baseball. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure I can't think of a lot of people, if anybody, that I respect their opinion about the game more than Rick Hummel.
He's a real treasure, no question about it. 1 ball and 2 strikes as Schumacher leads off for the 3rd time in the game.
I think we've seen the last of Todd Wellemeyer today. P.J. Walters is loosening in the Cardinal bullpen.
And the strikeout of Schumacher is the 7th for Harden.
There's Walters. He'll have the 6th inning. 103 pitches already for Wellemeyer. He did finish strong. Struck out 4 of the last 5 hitters he faced. But too much damage in the opening frame. 3 runs on 4 hits in that inning, and a couple of more runs in the 4th inning.
Just too many pitches.
Too many pitches.
Yeah. Comey Rasmus has struck out on both occasions he's come to the plate, trying to bunt his way on there. Cardinals are 13-5. They've won 5 in a row. They are 10-2 here, going for their 10th in a row today, and 5-1 playing day baseball here at Busch Stadium. Got to come from behind this afternoon. That's high.
The line on Wellemeyer: 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them were earned. He walked 2, struck out 5 in throwing 103 pitches. Well, a bloop and a blast here, Jay. The Cardinals right back in it.
Fouled into the seats. Nice to see our friend Rob Fisher, former St. Louis area sportscaster, now plying his trade down in Memphis, where the AAA club is. Here visiting with his mother today and watching the Cardinals in action. Count is full. It's a final at Cincinnati. The Reds beat Atlanta 8-2.
He wouldn't walk Rasmus with Albert on deck, would he?
We're about to find out.
I know he doesn't want to.
Another strikeout. That's 8. Albert has walked twice. Before work, before school, join News Channel 5's Art Holiday and Jennifer Blome. St. Louis's favorite morning show, Today in St. Louis. Latest news, traffic, and weather. Today in St. Louis beginning at 5 a.m. right here on News Channel 5. And Pujols is hit by Harden. And you see Laz Diaz, the plate umpire, walking inside of Albert there. I'll check Albert out for a moment.
Well, they tried to hit Albert his last at bat, and they missed him. They missed him twice, then they just walked him. But Harden, no doubt about that, just hits him in the lower back, and Albert not too happy about it, and I don't blame him. And we may not have seen the last of this issue.
I was just going to say, the flame may have just started burning a little bit here.
Well, certainly the Cubs weren't happy when Soriano got hit in the back of the helmet, but you'd have to say from the point of view of Wellemeyer, that ball just got away, and there was no purpose to that. And when you do something that has no purpose and respond by something with a purpose, you know, the question is who's retaliating to who.
Ludwig has flied to center and struck out. Ankiel, who homered in the 4th, is on deck.
That's how the Hatfields and the McCoys started.
Washington playing in the 9th at New York, leading the Mets 8-1. Colorado 4-0 over Los Angeles in the fourth at Colorado. 2 balls and a strike.
Surprised the home plate umpire Laz Diaz did not issue warnings to both teams, because that was very clearly a case of the pitcher throwing at a hitter. I mean, there wasn't. I mean, there are times, sometimes where they make a decision that it's happened, and I don't know where they're coming up with it, but in that case, obvious to everybody in this ballpark that Harden was hitting Albert on purpose. I don't think there's any question about that. No one would argue with that.
Harden, who has really got good stuff this afternoon. 2-2 the count. On the ground, will it get through? Throw to first in time. And now Ludwig arguing the point with Chuck Merriweather, and Tony coming out. It's still 6-2 Chicago. Who was the winning pitcher in the '66 All-Star game? Gaylord Perry. Soriano leads it off. He's been on base all 3 times this afternoon. Singled and scored in the first, hit by a pitch in the second, doubled and scored in the fourth. Our Verizon call to the bullpen. That's P.J. Walters out there on the hill. The curveball just catches the inside corner. Walters started the season at Memphis, made his major league debut on the 17th at Wrigley.
And he had a good outing there. He had 7 strikeouts, but he really was roughed up in his last outing. And he just carved up Soriano.
Ryan Terrio will stand in. He bunted his way on and scored in the first, flied to center in the second, reached on an error in the fourth and scored.
I was half expecting a purpose pitch to Soriano in that at bat.
Fly ball into short left. Rasmus makes the play. Rasmus and Green going out face to face there, and Colby coming up with it. In today's world, you can get news and information everywhere, on your TV, on your computer, even on the cell phone. Whether it's on air, online, or on the go, there's still one trusted source, News Channel 5, where the news comes first. Fukudomi takes the ball.
Seems, Jay, like we've had a couple communication issues with our outfielders this year, as if they're not maybe being loud enough when they're making their calls. And then that play, Green going out hard to left field as he's supposed to, and he can't really keep his eye on Rasmus. He has to look back for the ball. Rasmus has everything in front of him. He's got to yell. Now, he's a quiet guy, but he's got to yell and say, I've got it.
Absolutely.
So Green doesn't get in his way.
Thurston makes the play in foul ground, and that will do it. The Birds coming to bat in the bottom of the 6th, down 6-2. Want more in a banking relationship? Call, click, or come by Commerce Bank, member FDIC. By Fairmount Park. Make group reservations now for affordable fun at Fairmount Park. And by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. Aniel, Molina, and Green to start it off here in the 6th. 1 ball and 1 strike. Aniel fouled out in the 1st and then banged out his 2nd homer of the season in the 4th.
Trying to hit another one there, wasn't he?
Three finals: Pittsburgh over the Marlins, Atlanta over the Reds, or excuse me, the Reds over Atlanta. That final was 8-2. And then Washington has defeated the Mets in New York. It's now a final 8-1. 2-2 the count. Ripped foul. Time for our Amarin Power On feature. Back to the 4th inning. Aniel at the dish.
High fastball. Tomahawks it into the right field bleachers for his 2nd home run of the season.
Here's one to right. He got under it just a bit. That's Fukudomi. 1 away. Molina homered in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th.
And you don't see Yadier Molina strike out very often. One of the toughest in the National League. This Cubs starter Harden really does have a lot of strikeout options. He's got the good split that he throws and a good little short slider, and they look very similar. One dips away from a right-hander, one down and in. And he throws hard enough, low 90s, to get some strikeouts with that pitch. And there's the split. Bottom just dropped out of that pitch. He throws it hard enough that you don't really see that it's not a fastball, and you start to commit to swinging at it, and the ball just dips at the last moment. Molina comes up empty there.
That is 9 strikeouts for Rich Harden.
We talked about the keys to a Cardinal victory today would be that they would dominate the middle of the game offensively, and they did not today. The Cubs have outscored them 2-1, although that's been a big plus for the Cardinals all year. Kick them while they're down. Well, the Cubs have jumped back up, and they're fighting. Derek Lee, who'd been down with a double in the first inning, and don't let the defense beat you. The Cardinals have already given up an unearned run and not living up to those keys, or why they're trailing 6-2 as the Cubs hit the 6th inning, or as the Cardinals hit the 6th. There's the split fastball grip. There's the dip down and away.
2 balls and a strike to Green, who grounded out in the 2nd and struck out in the 4th. Harden, listen to this. He is now struck out 35 in 21 innings. That's pretty impressive, boys and girls. Wow. 2-2. Popped up and out of play.
We should say congratulations to our St. Louis Rams for a very expert draft, most would say. Jason Smith, first-round pick out of Baylor. Looking forward to Rams having a good season, and congratulations to the Blues for finishing so strong.
Yeah, they did a nice job. Soriano makes the play. Cardinals go quietly here in the 6th after half a dozen. 6-2 Chicago. We move to the 7th inning, and Micah Hofpauer will lead it off. He walked in the 2nd, singled in the 4th. Hofpauer taking over for Derek Lee, who was injured in the 1st inning. Although we saw him pulling at his left knee, it was apparently a neck injury, Rick, that has sidelined him. This ball well hit to center field, way back, and it is out of here. Micah Hofpauer. Mike was talking earlier when he was on with us. What a good-looking prospect this guy is.
He's got great minor league numbers, and B.J. Walter's job right now is to keep the Cardinals in the game, but that ball down and into Hofpauer, and he does get all of his power behind that one. Good extension. Drives that ball deep into the center field bleachers. And the Cubs lead now extended to 7-2. I still don't think this game is over yet, but Walter is going to have to stop the bleeding here and give Cardinals a chance to get a couple of runners on in the late innings here. And who knows, maybe Albert will hit with the tying run at the plate before it's over.
Hofpauer's first home run of the season. Johnson is fouled out, grounded out, and struck out. He's 0 for 3 and an 0-2 count. Strikeout number 2 for Walters. For a complete wrap-up of all the weekend sports, don't miss Don Brown Deals Sports Plus. Join News Channel 5's Rennie Knott and Frank Cusimano for highlights and coverage of all your hometown teams. That's Don Brown Deals Sports Plus tonight following the late news right here on Channel 5. 422 feet on the Hofpauer home run. Fontenot has grounded out, and when he did back in the first, picked up an RBI, flied to left in the third, struck out in the fourth. Fouled away. Fontenot and Terrio both played on the same team at LSU. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 3 balls and a strike.
Must have been a pretty good team.
It was. It was.
LSU has always had good pitching. Been to the College World Series a number of times. There was a time when I was coaching with the Cleveland Indians in the minor leagues. We had 4 pitchers from LSU in the same organization in the minor leagues. All of them with great arms.
Into right. Fontenot at first base. A reminder, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. So after the home run by Hofpauer, a strikeout, and now the single by Fontenot, and here's Giovanni Soto. Soto popped out in the first, struck out in the third, lined out in the fifth. I'm just looking up because we mentioned it. That LSU team that Terrio and Fontenot played on in 2000 won the NCAA championship in Omaha. Walters fires over. Must have been a little high.
Walter's not overpowering. I think that'd be an obvious statement if you watch him pitch, but he does have good off-speed pitches, good slider, and changeup is really the pitch was his dominating pitch as a starter in the minor leagues, and he's trying to get all of that established at the big league level, and he's not quite there yet.
And a double play ball.
That'll help.
6-4-3 on the double play. 7-2 Chicago.
There are people
The 7th inning ended with our steak and shake defensive play of the game as we ISO Skip Schumacher, turning a double play to nail Giovanni Soto and to help out his pitcher as he jumps out of the way of the runner. Not easy to do. He steps back on the outfield side of second base, turns the double play. Little conversation back and forth to make sure no harm, no foul, and P.J. Walters gets through the top of the 7th with just 1 run. The Cubs now with a new pitcher to start the bottom of the 7th inning. It'll be the left-hander Neil Kotz to face Joe Thurston.
And Kotz is 0-1 with a 4.15 ERA. Allowed 1 hit and 1 walk in a third of an inning of work on Tuesday. Stranded a couple of inherited runners. 2, in fact, yesterday here in St. Louis.
I think we need to pop the champagne and celebrate that Rich Harden's out of this game.
Had himself quite a game. 6 innings, 2 hits, or 2 runs on 4 hits. Struck out 9 and walked 2.
Pinella's going to come out and talk to his left-hander. Just a 2-0 count on Thurston. Pinella's making that slow walk out there. Kotz has had trouble throwing strikes. Aaron Heilman, the right-hander's out there. This may be one of those conversations like, Neil, throw a strike. Boy, I wish I could lip read right now.
Piniella is worth the price of admission when you just get to watch him walk out there.
Well, you can see it in his eyes right here. This conversation is stern. Sometimes you've got to be stern.
He is a dandy.
You could almost see the steam coming out of his ears, couldn't you? 7-2 lead. I'm sure he reminded him it's 7-2. You're facing the 8th hitter in the lineup, and you're 2-0. That isn't going to work.
Lou Piniella, a real package. He got it in there.
And the message was received.
Thurston is fouled out and singled. It'll be interesting to see what kind of expression we get from Lou if he walks this batter.
That might be worth the price of admission.
Yes.
I kind of hope he walks him just to see what Lou does.
Payoff pitch coming from the left-hander. It's low.
Well, what he's going to do is stand up,
walk around in a circle,
count to 10. Right, looking for something to kick. Not really sure.
Piniella knows this game is far from over.
Oh, you bet he does.
Brendan Ryan, the pinch hitter. And a strike to Ryan.
Boy, that'd drive a manager crazy. Not just Lou Piniella. You've got a 7-2 lead in the 7th inning. Your starter has just shut down a team for the most part, except for a couple of home runs, and then you walk the leadoff hitter, and there goes Thurston.
And a stolen base for Thurston. That's his first of the season.
Well, the Cardinals showing some aggressiveness. Thurston sliding to the outfield side of the second base bag to avoid the tag. And the Cardinals showing that they don't have any quit in them.
Ryan tripled and scored a go-ahead run on Tuesday against the Mets. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ooh. It's a fair ball. Fair ball into the corner. Thurston scores. And a ground rule double, although now they've been able to communicate that to Ryan, and he'll have to go back. That ball into the stands down the right side.
Looks like a fan may have cost the Cardinals an extra base, because that could have been a triple.
Yep.
As Fukudome was way off the line. And once that ball was touched down the line, it becomes a ground rule double. Ryan was rounding second base on his way to third. And that's a bad break for the Cardinals.
Here's Schumacher.
Ryan hit that ball right off the bag, and a fan reaches over and grabs the ball. I know they're just trying to have fun, but they know that ball is live.
That was Ryan's third RBI of the season.
Well, this game is decidedly not over.
7-3. 1 ball and 1 strike to Schumacher. Inside. Fontenot, Terrio, Miles, and Hofpauer on the infield. Soriano, Johnson, and Fukudome in the outfield, left to right. Swing and a miss. High hard one. 2-2.
Well, this is why Piniella has left Kotz in. Even though he walked the leadoff hitter and was going to face a right-hander Ryan, with Schumacher and Rasmus to follow, he wanted Kotz to get these guys as he talks it over with Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach.
Foul back.
Much better at bats from Schumacher off of left-handers this year. I think he's really staying on pitches better. That was a pretty good slider from Kotz, up a bit, but not a bad swing from Skip.
Rick, that's something he concentrated on in the offseason.
You bet.
Another foul. Astros are leading Milwaukee 3-2 in the 6th inning. Colorado 4-0 over LA in the 5th.
Giovanni Soto trying to do everything he can to make sure the hitter doesn't know location. So he starts in, makes a little noise inside, then goes back away, which is where he called for the pitch, just in case the hitter is starting to feel his presence either in or away, because hitters will guess location. And Soto's been doing that all series, sometimes even making noise with his glove inside and then bouncing back out over the outside corner.
On the ground, scooped by Fontenot. Good play. Sunday is game day on News Channel 5. Our next broadcast a week from today, May the 3rd. That's a Sunday, of course. 1 week from today, the Cardinals in Washington to take on the Nationals. Our coverage begins at noon right here on your home of Cardinal baseball, News Channel 5. Rasmus has struck out 3 times this afternoon. Popped up, and let's see if there is a play. No.
Well, it'll be a shame if the Cardinals are not able to pick up this 4th run, make it a 3-run game. Again, point to that ball hit down the line off the bat of Brendan Ryan that could have been a triple potentially, except the fan touched the ball. Now the Cardinals trying to score him from third base. He might have scored on the contact play on that ground ball left side of the infield. Score should be 7-4.
That misses outside. A couple of finals over in the American League. Cleveland 4-2 over Minnesota. Baltimore 8-5 over Texas.
I can't recall who it was, Jay, but one guy out in the Cardinal bullpen one day was protecting the catcher while other pitchers were warming up. In fact, I think I was warming up, and there was a fair ball hit down the line. The guy protecting picked up the ball, didn't realize that it was a fair ball, and so it can happen when you're not paying attention.
Popped up.
might be tough.
Yeah, fighting the sun is Soriano with his little hop catch out there. He made the play. So it is up to Albert. And here comes Lou. We're going to have a pitching change. Heilman's coming in. Kotz is going out. And we'll take this timeout. Well, you can visit momslikeme.com, a local website for St. Louis moms. It's by St. Louis moms, and that's momslikeme.com, where St. Louis moms meet. Aaron Heilman, 2-0 on the year, 0.93 ERA, over 9 2/3 innings. And we have a new catcher, Hill behind the plate. Hill will bat in the 9 slot, Heilman in the 7 slot.
And the Cubs now down to one bench player. That's Gathright, as Lou Piniella does a double switch to try to make that decision not come up again until the 9th inning. Do the double switch as Soto made the last out in the Cubs' 7th inning. And Heilman's first batter will be Albert Pujols. Interesting here with first base open how the Cubs will go about this situation. You've got Ryan Ludwig on deck. You're just going to have to pitch to Albert. Because when you're up, you can't afford to just walk a guy. Of course, they'll be a little bit careful with Albert, but you've got to try to get him out. And Albert, of course, with one swing in the back, can make this a 7-5 game.
Heilman acquired from Seattle in January. He's from Logansport, Indiana, 30 years old. And the first is low from Heilman. Albert has done well against this pitcher in the past. Heilman was with the Mets, of course, for quite a while. 2 balls and no strikes. Three and 0.
I think Albert has the green light here. I'd give it to him.
Time called. 1 and 2 out. Larry Rothschild out to talk with Heilman. Rothschild, a former pitching coach of the Marlins, a Chicago native. His wife, a lawyer in the Chicago area. Well, here is Ludwig. He's flied to center, struck out, and grounded out.
Cubs have basically taken the bat out of Albert's hand here this afternoon. He's walked 3 times, was hit by a pitch. Ludwig is 0 for 3 behind Albert today. We'll see if that move pays off again. Ludwig, of course, has the power with 5 home runs to make it a one-run
game. Yes, sir. A strike at the knees. Shot into center field, and Johnson is there. Ball was hard hit. Redbirds get 1. It's 7-3 Chicago after 7. Well, time for our hot pitch of the day right here.
And the pitch was down and into Ryan Ludwig. He hits the ball hard, and the results were good for the Chicago Cubs and Aaron Heilman, although that was a pitch perhaps that Ludwig could have handled. Blaine Boyer on in relief of P.J. Walters, who was not bad in his 2 innings of work behind Todd Wellemeyer. Boyer pitched here yesterday, gave up an unearned run in his Cardinal debut, and he's a guy that Cardinals just got from Atlanta, who has a live arm, kind of a stiff delivery, but he throws hard.
And he faces Aaron Miles, as he came from Atlanta in the deal for Brian Barton. He was 2-6 last season for the Braves. An Atlanta native.
They just called an extra ball for Boyer going to his mouth on the mound. Count now at 2-2.
Let's go to Frank Cusimano with a little more information about Boyer.
Jay, thanks very much. The happiest Cardinal when Boyer was acquired, it was Adam Wainwright. The two were actually roommates together in the minor leagues, and they're very close. Their wives are very close. They attend Bible studies and Fellowship of Christian Athletes meetings together. We were talking with John Mozeliak earlier, and he simply said he thought it was a good gamble. He says, you know, he hit 96 once on the gun yesterday, and we all know, as there's a shot to left field. We all know what Dave Duncan can do with a young pitcher with a great arm. There's certainly a lot of statistical proof there that he can turn around a pitcher, and he's just a good gamble for the Cardinals at this point. Shane, Rick?
All right, thanks very much, Frank.
And to back that up, Adam, when I saw him before the game today, he brought me right over to meet Blaine, and he is a very nice young man and very connected with Adam. And of course, the bar's high here in St. Louis, as it is in Atlanta, in terms of what a pitcher's production needs to be. And Dave Duncan may be the perfect guy for Blaine Boyer.
Here's Hill. He's batting .300, has a home run and 5 RBIs. A backup catcher for the Cubs. Hill's from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Throw over.
I mentioned his stiffness, Jay. He looks like one of those guys that's, probably play a little middle linebacker in his lifetime, too. He's a big, strong guy, very solid. But you watch middle linebackers pitch, and they're a little stiff, too.
This fellow went to Wichita State. A swing and a miss.
Braden Looper, former Cardinal.
That's right.
Played at Wichita State. They've always had good programs there as well.
1 ball and 1 strike. He goes through on the right side. Immediately following today's telecast, you'll want to stay tuned for the post-game show, the Cardinal highlights. News Channel 5, your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. Molina talking with Boyer. And here is Soriano. In the first, he singled and scored. In the second, he was hit by a pitch. In the fourth, he doubled. Later stole a base and scored. And in the sixth, against Walters, he struck out. The first 2 have reached here in the 8th. Cardinals have been out hit 12-5. Chicago leads it 7-3.
Boyer had a pretty good year with the Braves in 2005, a 3.11 ERA. He pitched 43 games that year, and he had almost a strikeout an inning. So he's got some talent.
Soriano with a shot into left, and the catch is made by Rasmus. Boy, Colby closed on that one quickly. Good play out there.
That was a tough play. Colby hasn't played a lot of left field. He's been more of a center fielder, and so a slightly different angle. This ball hooking and sinking, but glove side, able to make that play on the run. Made that look a little easier than it really was.
Terrio has scored twice in the game. He bunted his way on and scored in the first, flied to center in the second, reached on an error and scored in the fourth, and fouled out in the 6th inning. Terrio's average right now at .338. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
We can see already that Boyer is going to need some work on his breaking ball. It just doesn't have a lot of consistency to it. And the problem with that is once a hitter sees that you're spinning up your breaking ball, they eliminate that pitch and don't worry about it. And because they know you can't throw it for strikes, and they just look fastball.
And there is a double play ball, maybe. No, only 1 play. Soriano runs too fast to turn that double play. Our announcer apparel is provided by Ad Creations. Wonderful promotional group, and we thank them. Now the manager's going to come out and they make a pitching change here.
You see Trevor Miller facing the left-hander Fukudome, and Hofpauer hits next, so that should be it for Blaine Boyer.
Pitching change coming up. We'll be back with more in just
this ground ball gets the lead runner for the second out of the inning, but watch how low he gets, almost uncomfortably low, as the ball handcuffs him a bit, rolls up his glove a bit, and that little delay and even the poor grip on the baseball there just leading to the force out at second instead of a double play. Khalil Green not off to a great start defensively. He is a good fielding shortstop. He's going to make some great plays. He's already made some great plays, but like a lot of the Cardinals, the errors just piling up a bit.
Trevor Miller, the left-hander, 35 years old, from Louisville, Kentucky, to face Fukudome. Runners at the corners, 2 out. Fukudome singled and scored, picked up an RBI in the first, then walked in the second, singled and got an RBI in the fourth, fouled out in the sixth. Sweeper is outside.
Well, this is one of the reasons why the Cardinals went out and got Trevor Miller. Fukudome, McLeod for Pittsburgh, Votto, and Bruce for Cincinnati. His job is to get the dangerous left-handers in the division out.
Final over in Kansas City. The Tigers 3, Kansas City 2. Two and two.
The Kansas City club, a much better club this year. We're going to see them in interleague play, of course. And some teams off to good starts throughout all of baseball that are a little bit surprising.
Yeah.
San Diego's off to a good start in the National League West.
Toronto.
Seattle's playing really well. Seattle, I would have not expected that from them at all. Pirates playing very well in our division.
Deep to right, way back, gone. 3-run home run. His 4th of the season. That's 5 RBIs on the day for Fukudome.
Fukudome swinging the bat very well early in the season, as he did last year. This is a slider that just hung on the inside part of the plate, and that's his 4th home run of the season. And he gives the Cubs a big lead, and it would have been nice for the Cardinals to be able to turn that double play in front of that home run. Would have been a difficult chore for sure, and many of the Cardinal fans here disappointed that this game has gotten out of hand here in the 8th inning.
One ball and one strike. That shot to right, sending some of the faithful home early. And here's a nice play by Thurston in foul ground to end the inning, but the damage is done. A 3-run home run by Fukudome, and it is 10-3 Chicago. It's a nice way they bring these young people out, and that's Ryan right there. Ryan Ludwig and a youngster. They bring them out for the national anthem, and here's a shot that is caught deep in right by Fukudome. Heilman still doing the pitching for Chicago.
And the Cardinals are in danger, I would say serious danger, of having their 9-game home winning streak broken here this afternoon against their arch rival Chicago Cubs.
And Keel with another long ball there. He had the home run to right and 3 balls to the right hit hard. 2 of them caught out there, and then he fouled out in the first inning. Yadier Molina homered in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th and in the 6th. 0-2 the count to Yadi.
Boy, it'd have to just be a handful of games in his career where Yadier Molina has struck out twice. I don't ever remember him doing that.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, the Redbirds will fly to Atlanta this evening for 3. And it's on to Washington for 4 against the Nationals. Home for 2 with Philadelphia and 2 with Pittsburgh, and 3 in Cincinnati, and a day off the 11th. 3 in Pittsburgh, home for 3 Milwaukee, and 3 with the Cubs, and safe at first. Well, a little surprised they didn't see if that ball might not have gone foul, Rick, at this point in the proceedings, but
well, I think he picks it up because he knows it's Molina running, who's not the fastest of runners, and I'm not sure that ball's going to go foul. And it's a close play at first. Another infield hit for Yadier Molina. You know, he gets a lot of these. The defense always plays him deep, but Yachty hustling down the line beats the throw. And Molina aboard. I know last year he had a number of infield hits, all kinds of different ways.
Yachty is 2 for 4 on the afternoon with that home run, and here is Khalil Green, who's grounded out, struck out, and flied to left.
We may see Denny's Reyes in the 9th inning. He would be the 5th Cardinal pitcher. The Cardinals bullpen has been very strong during this homestand, faltering a bit here today. 4 runs in the last 2 innings has extended the Cubs' lead, and now it's an uphill battle for the Cardinals. Not over yet, but it's an uphill battle.
Here's a 3-0 pitch coming. Strike at the letters. Toronto beat the White Sox 4-3 in Chicago. Into right, and oh, that's a fine play by Fukudome out there, and he tries to double up Molina. Not in time at first.
Fukudome is a plus outfielder defensively. He's had a couple of shaky moments in the last week, misjudging balls because of the wind, but he's got a plus arm and really makes a real nice play coming in on a ball that should have been a hit off the bat of Khalil Green, but now he's 0 for here this afternoon, and Joe Thurston, who's 1 for 2 with a walk, is the last Cardinal hope here in the 8th.
Ten, 13-0 for Chicago, 3-6-1 for the Cardinals. Runner goes, it's a strike. They give him the stolen base? No stolen base.
You have to write down DI, your scorecard.
But he does have one this season.
He does.
That's on the outside corner. 0-2 to Thurston.
I wonder who thought up that term defensive indifference. Some stat guy just decided let's call that a DI. I mean, why'd they come up with that, Jay? Why not just we don't really care?
Here's a ground ball out to Terrio. And he throws on. That'll do it. After 8, 10-3 Chicago. car care back in your car. Transmission, brakes, maintenance, and a whole lot more. And by Ameren UE, we listen, we respond, we deliver. Reed Johnson, first pitch out to Schumacher, one away. And Johnson is 0 for 5 on the afternoon.
And Trevor Miller stays in the game as his spot in the order did not come to bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. Reyes was ready for this. Miller, unfortunately, delivering a big mistake in this game, a 3-run home run by Kosuke Fukudome in the top of the 8th inning has given the Cubs this 10-3 lead, and just 3 more outs left for the Redbirds.
And LaRue now doing the catching for the Cardinals. Fontenot grounded out and got the RBI in the first, fly to left, and struck out, singled in the 7th. Two Cub fans are left. They're yelling, "Let's go Cubbies." Now the Cubs-Cardinal rivalry. It is really something special.
Well, you mentioned a lot of the Cardinal fans did take off after the home run in the 8th inning, and unfortunately the people in the blue stayed, and they're expecting to sing that song that we are growing very tired of hearing.
Swing and a miss. Well, there'll be 16 meetings between these two teams this season, 9 here. And the Cardinals were leading 3-2. A win for the Cubs this afternoon will even it up at 3-3. The Cubs were 9-6 against the Cardinals in 2008.
And even with a loss this afternoon, you'd have to look at the Cardinals' full body of work in this homestand and say it is way more than you would have thought possible, with the Mets and Cubs both coming into town with their strong ball clubs. And the Cardinals, of course, have been playing well at home, but to win 5 out of 6, not too shabby.
Full count.
Cardinals 10-2 at home going into this game here this afternoon, and they'll travel onto the road. They have a 3-3 record in road games.
Their home win streak of 9 will come to an end. They lose this game. Here's a walk to Fontenot.
And as we've mentioned, the 7-game road trip begins tomorrow in Atlanta. 3 games in Atlanta, 3 night games there, then Washington for 4.
This is Joey Gathright, pinch hitting, batting average of 200. Fouls it off. Gathright from Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
It's kind of the way this game is, Jay, that sometimes you have to look at the small picture, the game today, the next pitch, the minutia, and then there are times where you have to look back at the big picture and say, big picture, we're playing well. Big picture, we've had a good home stand. We should feel good about ourselves going on this road trip, but you've got to be able to get over a game like today quickly.
There's a strikeout. And with 2 out, the runner at first, Aaron Miles. Aaron singled and scored in the 2nd, rounded out in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th, and singled off Boyer in the 8th.
It's one of the things that the travel does to help these guys get over games, because literally 5 minutes after the game, they'll be doing interviews about the game. And then 10 minutes after, they'll be taking a shower and then eating and then getting on a plane, and then they're going to end up in a new city.
The ball is over Rasmus' glove, and Miles has his 3rd hit of the afternoon. A former Cardinal. He didn't get a very good break on that ball. He made a real effort to get to it, but it just got over the glove.
That ball carried a little bit more than he thought it would off the bat of Aaron Miles. The wind's blowing out to left, and he gets a pitch on the inside part of the plate. Miles Really not as good a hitter from the right side, but ball just over the head of Colby Rasmus. You see the end of the play as he reaches out, just barely misses it. But it's the few steps before that, Jay, that we both saw where he didn't really get a good jump on it.
Coy Hill is the batter, but we're going to have another pitcher come into the game at this point in the proceedings. It's going to be Dennis Reyes. Comes the big man, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. Five is brought to you by Budweiser, who thanks you for being a designated driver. By U.S. Cellular. U.S. Cellular, believe in something better. And by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. Downtown St. Louis as we bring you back into Busch Stadium. Reyes on. He'll pitch to Coy Hill. Hill singled. His only time at bat in the 8th after taking over for Soto.
He's a switch hitter batting from the right side against the left-hander Reyes, and I'm trying to figure out why Tony La Russa has decided to go with Reyes here. Reyes pitched in all 3 games against the Mets, and he hasn't pitched against the Cubs, so perhaps just getting him a little work here in a game that's, you'd say, out of hand right now, 10-3. But with Trevor Miller pitching in the 9th to go to the other left-hander, a little odd unless you're just trying to get Reyes some work.
Reyes did pitch against Chicago in Chicago, and here is a great play by Thurston. My goodness, what a play. Reyes, of course, gave up that walk-off home run in the game at Chicago that the Cardinals lost. Back with more in a moment. to the man from Japan.
Kosuke Fukudome has continued his torrid hitting here this afternoon. 5 RBIs, a couple of runs scored, and a big blast, a 3-run homer in the 8th inning off of Trevor Miller. But he was a part of the action in the 1st inning and the 4th inning when the Cubs built their early lead. He's also made a couple of nice plays defensively, robbing Khalil Green of a base hit late in this game. Really been almost a perfect game for Fukudome. Kevin Gregg takes over for Lou Piniella here in the bottom of the 9th inning as they enjoy a 10-3 lead, and Chris Duncan will be the pinch hitter. It'll be Duncan, Schumacher, and Rasmus against Gregg. Gregg's an important part of this Cubs bullpen and the success of this team, Jay, what he does at the end of games.
And here is a shot down the line in right. Duncan coming in batting .298, has a double.
That was a nice at-bat from Chris Duncan as he takes the first pitch from Gregg right over the bag at first. And the fans learn this time. They leave the ball alone. Duncan goes into second base. See, they can be taught. They're laughing about it. There's a Cub fan down there. I'm sure there's a lot of fun conversation going on in that group.
Gregg is 0-1 with a 6.43 ERA coming into this one. Here's Schumacher, singled in the first. Then he flied to left, struck out, and grounded out. Tip. Out into center field, Johnson. Kevin Gregg is 30 years old from Corvallis, Oregon. Gregg was with Florida last year, 7-8 with a 3.41 ERA. Rasmus 0 for 4 on the afternoon, including 3 strikeouts. Strike on the inside corner.
It's a real interesting delivery. Starts with his body open towards home, comes set almost like the way a knuckleball pitcher does. Not a lot of lower half movement.
Kobe with a little bloop out into left. It falls in. Duncan stops at third. Runners at the corners with 1 out.
Colby picks up his first hit of the day on a pitch down and away. Breaking ball. Just bloops it the other way. Colby's had a nice impact on this Cardinal offense so far this year.
Sure has.
And really, who hasn't? Jason LaRue's done a nice job when he's played. Brian Barton off the bench. Joe Thurston.
Here's Albert. Down at third. Second. Double play. That will do it. 10-14-0 for Chicago, 3-8-1 for St. Louis.
Well, the Cubs are smiling this afternoon after the Cardinals put a hurting on them the first 2 games of the series. The Cubs fired back here this afternoon, 14 hits, 10 runs, and Lou Piniella has to be happy with the effort of his ball club.
And we'll